Hey, good morning. Good morning. This is Jared and Nate from Ecarriercheck here in Gearing, Nebraska. It's kind of a cool morning today, Nate. I'm kind of excited.
Really good.
Yeah, it feels like fall. I know next week we're back up in the 90s, but I'll take today. It's definitely exciting. I'm excited about today. We've got some calls today. We're going to make some phone calls for a carrier that I help out with, and we're going to talk about sales and really get you guys some live, real-time, tactical things they can be doing. So I'm excited about that. But Nate, tell me about your week. Obviously, it was a little bit short. We didn't have a demo on Monday, but obviously the last 3 days we've been with people. Tell me about your week.
Really good with honestly. Our marketing is definitely paying off. I had a weird amount of intermodal carriers hit me up. We're trying to find more intermodal direct carriers. That's really been like the topic for me, anyways. This week, intermodal. Trying to help people in the intermodal world. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We don't get a lot of questions on intermodal, so it was really nice to have that this week.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How would you say, as far as when you're talking to clients, what have you heard about the economy, or what are you hearing about levels of freight, things like that?
Yeah. The one thing that brings me, or kind of comes to my head, is, well, I see a lot of carriers trying to get better rates. How can they, either cut the broker out or maybe work with a broker that will get them better rates. So
Yeah.
building those relationships with brokers. But, other than that, it's just, I see a lot of brokers struggling with finding not carriers, but shippers. How can I find some shippers? They don't need me today, or I'm too new. So that's kind of the couple things that usually comes to mind when I talk to our customers.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Mhm.
Hey, Brian, what's going on, man? Tire Killer is on the house today. It's good to see you. I hope you had a good week. I know Labor Day and booking freight and trucks and things like that, boy, it just throws it off, not only last week, but this week too. It kind of throws you off. So I'm glad you're on, Brian. So I want to talk about a guy that I was helping this week. He's a new freight broker. Tarina, what's up? It's good to see you. Any questions today, guys, throw them out there. We're definitely here to help and try to drive you guys and grow your businesses in that aspect. But I had a guy this week that's been an Ecarriercheck subscriber for about 2 weeks, right? Fairly new broker. And he's in the same boat that you just mentioned. He needs a shipper. He's trying to get his business going. And so I asked him, I said, well, tell me about your call schedules, or tell me about your calls or your emails, or how are you doing this? Let's ground with.
He goes, well, I get on Ecarriercheck and I do all my homework and I've got a good list. And I said, that's good, and you got a good foundation, right? And I said, well, how are the calls going? And he goes, well, I haven't made any. And so I think something that really, and maybe we need to find something off our site that kind of like pushes you more. I need like a pop-up every time you make your call or something like something crazy.
Make your 5 calls.
Exactly. But I said, you've got to get started. And he's like, well, I need to know how to do this. And I'm like, honestly, man, I am not a silver tongue fox. I've been in the industry for a while, but I'm not. Audio's doing the wrong thing. That's kind of weird. Try to let me pull that a little forward here, Brian. Let me know if it's still okay. Yeah, keep me posted if that's okay. But the guy actually said, I said, well, you've got to get going. You got to start making your calls. And like you said, I think if you just set a schedule and block time to be as intentional and as present as possible and start making 5 calls a day.
Yeah.
Because what will end up happening, if you guys have ever read this book, it's called Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Insane book, but it talks about just consistent little habits will add up over time. Weird. I wonder if there's something going on with our mic. Give us 1 sec here.
Yeah.
We can get that. Let's see if I don't know what even the name is. That it? That's better. Brian says it's better.
That's better. Okay. Yeah.
But the compound effect, this book really talks about, imagine eating a Twinkie every single day, right? Mm-hmm. It just adds 250 calories to your diet. Seems like more like a connection problem, but not sure. Is it still this way, Alan? Just out of curiosity, you can tell me. That'd be great.
But anyway, this book talks about just, consistent little habits will add up over time. And imagine if you just started calling 5 people a day, the effect that you could get out of that, right? At the end of every month, you knew that you called 100 people. Perfect. Awesome. That's awesome. You called 100 people, and that's 100 more than what you called last month. I say this a lot. The heaviest weight at the gym is the front door. It's just getting started.
Yeah.
And I don't think, honestly, when it comes to two different things, this is like Rudy, right? Either it's going to be consistency over talent. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be your drive and hard work over talent every time.
Yeah. That's funny they mentioned that too. I was on with my carrier, that intermodal guy, and he cold called me. That's what's funny. He goes, "Hey, are you looking for intermodal carriers?" I said, "Well, the funny thing is we can help you find intermodal shippers." So I told him, keep grinding. He's like, "Well, it's tough. I hate making cold calls."
Oh, I know.
Something that we talked about, I think, was our Wednesday Q&A.
Yeah.
Not only continue to make these calls, hard work does pay off. That
Yeah.
consistency does pay off.
Yeah,
it does. And then we talked about emails. Make sure you're trying to make yourself different than other emails. I mean, I'll be the first to say it. If I see emails, I'm probably swiping, deleting right away.
Right.
If it's something I get, normally. But
yeah, this device right here is so powerful that, I know it sucks picking up the phone and talking to people, but I'd be kind of curious from Brian's standpoint. He's a carrier. He's been a carrier for quite a while. Brian, would you prefer just to pick up the phone and talk to a freight broker, or would you prefer to try to talk to a shipper? That'd be something I'd be interested in hearing from you on. But it's definitely one of those things that you just got to stay consistent and just focus on time blocking. 1 hour of pure focus and being present and just going.
We all got to start somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't learn to talk to people like overnight. It took time.
Absolutely.
Took a lot of scars, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. So today we're making calls. I'm excited about today. I work with a small company that's just right. Actually, I mean, we're talking. I can throw a rock and hit one of their trailers. I wouldn't, but I'm just saying how close. And they've got an incredible dispatcher. He's been in the industry for 30 years. Just doesn't like to pick up the phone. But he's built up probably one of the more interesting networks. Brian mentions, he said, I asked him earlier, I said, you would rather talk to a shipper or a broker? And he said, obviously the shipper, but consistent broker is fine as well. Terry, good morning. It's good to have you on. So I'm breaking down this carrier that we're going to be making calls for, just so you guys know what's going on, right? So a couple things there. They got 5 flatbeds. They've got 4-foot and 6-foot drops. They have both. If usually they leave the 6 foots at home and just use 4s, to be honest with you. They know their miles. They know how much it costs. This is a fluctuating number depending on fuel costs and things like that. But for the most part, we know that they need to be, their operational costs around $240 to $250. Okay. What's happened or what's changed, and I've made calls for this guy before on the live, and usually he likes Colorado, Montana, Wyoming, Nebraska, somewhere in there. Okay. But what's happened, and this is kind of interesting because freight flows different. You might get a new opportunity next week and you don't even know. So a freight broker came to our dispatcher. His network is set up so nice that he's got direct shippers in his bow tie at each location or his triangle. He's got really good brokers that he's built up, over 30 years. Crying out loud, you can do a lot.
Oh yeah.
But what happened is one of his favorite brokers, he pays quick. His favorite broker's 7-day pay, said, hey, I've got loads every week paying really well out of Denver going to Tulsa. Would you be interested in any of these this loads? And what's happened in his world is the guy that he normally gets, his direct shipper that normally is giving him freight, is taking a little bit of a break. They're doing some resets at the factory. They're doing some cleanups. They're getting some new machines. So they're on like about a month break. Okay. And then they'll go just gangbusters. But he's got about a month here where, okay, if I can go to Denver to Tulsa consistently, sign me up.
Right.
However, we're out of I'm at 230 just to break even and find it hard to find that out here. Oh my God, Brian, I totally get it. I mean, it's freight rates are insane, right? Freight rates are actually they're stupid, to be honest with you. It's, if you're getting that freight off of the load boards, it's really it's a real big struggle right now. Now he gets his freight from we actually just looked at this. His August numbers, this was kind of interesting, but 60% of his freight comes from direct shippers, which is impressive.
Yeah.
40% comes from brokers that he's already it was actually like 32, something like that. 32% come from direct brokers that he's been working with for years, and then the rest come off the load boards. And Brian, the load boards are really, when we evaluate his business, and I was glad to be able to be a part of that, is, with the direct shippers are obviously paying more than what the direct brokers are paying. But what was the biggest hiccup, Brian, was those brokers off the load boards. I mean, we're talking like a 20% decrease. Okay. So what he wanted me to do, or what he wanted me to help him with, is how do I find some either direct shippers that are in Tulsa or brokers that we can start to work with, because he's getting paid almost 30% more than what you would get out of Denver currently. Okay. Which is huge. Denver's always known for outbound is cheap, cheap, cheap. Brian, have you ever gotten to Denver? It's just ridiculous. You get $1 a mile going out. It's kind of stupid, and when COVID hit, and, about 6 months ago, when rates were just out of control and people were making, money left and right, you were getting, $2 out of Denver, $2.50 out of Denver, which is unheard of. And now those rates have kind of creeped back down again, because of how the economy slid. So that's what we're going to do. I went on Ecarriercheck, and you can share the screen if you want here, Nate. You don't necessarily have to, but I'll just explain to you what I did. Is I tried to stay out of there. Yeah. Denver is one of those states that you drive through, not to. That's for sure. We're just geographically challenged. We're in Western Nebraska. You can get beans, or you can get some commodities that are out of here because you're in that, that area. But we're geographically challenged. So you usually take, a short haul out of Gearing, some kind of commodity farming. We're in ag world, and you go over to Denver, and then Denver, you get out of there. So what I'm hoping for is to find a Tulsa shipper. I went on Ecarriercheck. I typed in the word Tulsa in our smart bar to find shippers. Okay. And the reason why I did that is I just wanted to, Tulsa is a unique name. It's not like Lincoln. Lincoln, there's going to be, how many Lincolns are out there, right? There's not only Lincoln the car, but there's Lincoln there's a lot of Lincolns, right? So, but Tulsa is a really unique name. It's not like there's some kind of car, or there's not a huge manufacturing called Tulsa, right? So I went in and looked up Tulsa. And then what I did is I also looked at our broker database, and I scrolled through it. I made sure that the brokers were at least 2 years or older. Okay. I made sure that they had either a website or a Facebook page, and you can simply just click on, the magnifying glass, and it'll take you out and say, where are they at? Do they have a Facebook page? Do they have a website? Because some of the brokers, realistically, if there's 70,000 brokers in the United States, I think I've seen this on TIA where there's only like 12 to 14,000 that are really, truly active. But I'm a big believer in local brokers have local freight. You just see that, you know what I mean? Even the brokers that I worked with in little old town of Gearing, Nebraska, they had local freight. You could always call them and get out of Gearing, Nebraska. So we're going to call those people today. I may need to look up, a couple numbers here. I didn't get the numbers. Actually, I can just do it on my phone. But we're going to call to the 2 shippers first and go from there. If you have any questions, thoughts, feedback, let me know. But that's what we're selling today. And I'm excited for these calls. So
while you're doing that, the couple of things that makes Ecarriercheck so unique is getting creative. Like yesterday on our demo. By the way, we got demos 3 times a week. Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. And come join us. Let us show you how you can get creative on our site and find, that one shipper that could potentially expand your business. I mean, it's there. You just got to pick up that phone and run those searches and just be patient.
Yeah.
But I like how you did that. You typed in Tulsa. I had a guy do that the other day with Chicago.
Okay.
So it was kind of cool how we did that.
Entertaining, right? The other thing that I thought was interesting is last night I was talking to a gal, and she was really set on trying to find freight coming from a certain part of the country back into North Carolina, because she had really good loads out of North Carolina. She just needed to turn and burn as quick as she can get back. 500-mile radius. I need more freight back. And here's something really interesting. We offer a lane search on our site. And so I put in kind of the two directions that she wanted to be, point A to point B. And no kidding, I changed it to, instead of showing me carriers, show me brokers.
Mm.
And I never thought about using it this way.
Right.
I don't know why we have it there,
Yep.
but why not look for carrier brokers that have had inspections in both and see if they have overflow?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a really good idea.
So it's really interesting. We ended up finding two different carriers. She was going to call them today and see how they go and let me know the results. It was really interesting. I love that we do that. And last plug, and then we'll get into these calls, is, we really don't market and put marketing dollars out there. We're really a word of mouth company. And so if you can go in and like our YouTube page or subscribe or comment, it just helps our algorithms continue to get a little bit bigger. So we thank you and appreciate everybody that's watching.
Yeah, we love the community here. That's nothing like it.
Our community's insane.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. So, all right. Well, we're going to call Tulsa Tubing, and we're going to see just a couple of things. Essentially, if you look at Tulsa to Denver, okay, just for the sake of clarifying this a little bit, and this is something that I do and kind of my homework as I'm looking up things. Tulsa to Denver is approximately 700 miles, depending on which way you go, okay, which is kind of a day and a half, okay. So if I'm picking up, Monday, if I can deliver by Tuesday afternoon, it may be Wednesday morning. I don't know. One thing I didn't ask him is, when is the actual receiver? When do they close? I should have asked that question when I was on there. But let's make some calls and see how this goes. So I'm going to just ask for shipping. Again, there's nothing fancy about what we do. It's just stay consistent, and that's the ultimate goal. So let's see where this goes. Tulsa Tube Bending Company. See what they got coming north. That's my goal. I need to get them back into his triangle.
I always get excited with these calls. Very excited.
Good morning, Tulsa Tube Bending Company.
Hey, this is Jared over at Twin City Cartage. How are you?
Just fine, thanks.
Hey, I was hoping I could talk to somebody in shipping.
Okay. Is it regarding a shipment for today?
Well, theoretically, it'd be actually for next week, theoretically.
Okay.
It'd be for next week if that's possible.
Okay, hold on just a moment.
Cool. Something I'm a big fan of, I got this muted. Something I'm a big fan of is anytime a gatekeeper calls, you can tell her hesitation, right? Anytime you say something that's in the future, it's for next week, you're going to get potentially in there further.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got her muted. She doesn't realize what I just told you guys, but I'm just saying, use the.
Hi, you've reached Alice Smith
Dang
at
it.
918.
But it's Alice. Okay.
7239. I'm not available right now. Please leave a message and I'll return the call as soon as possible. Thank you and have a great day.
Hey, Alice, this is Jared Ross over Twin City Cartage. I'm a flatbed carrier that gets down into Tulsa pretty much every other day during the week for the next 6 weeks. And I'm really trying to get back up north, kind of Denver, maybe Nebraska, South Dakota, even Wyoming or Montana. And I wanted to see if that'd be something that could fit into your network. If you could give me a call back, my cell phone is 308-631-2543. I appreciate your time and look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.
Nice.
Yeah, so we obviously just went into her voicemail. That's okay. It'd be really cool if she called us back while we're on the phone on the show. That'd be kind of insane. But I think it's important that you leave not only what it is your intentions are on a voicemail, you keep them as short as you possibly can. I probably didn't need to go into that. I was looking for so many states. I could have just said, "Hey, what do you have going north? Give me a call." I got to truck their money. Give me.
You guys specific with it too, and maybe that does help.
Yeah,
you just
absolutely.
Never know.
So, I do recommend it. I will call Alice back. And see if we can get either set up with her or understand what's going on, and see how that goes. So
I think a few things I get a lot from our customers too. Obviously they watch our live, so they're like, "Man, Jared does it so easily." You can do it too. I promise you, 100 calls it'd be probably maybe better than Jared. You never know.
Yeah,
it's gonna get better. The things that you said on that voicemail, you'll pick up. Tricks like, hey, I got a load for next week. Yeah. Like you said, you'll pick up those tricks. It's just making those calls. And
I always like, the other thing I'm a big fan of is I like to make sure that my voice has some sort of energy in it. Right? Not everybody sounds like me. Brian, the tire killer, he doesn't sound like me. You don't sound like me.
Right.
But you just need to go, hey, it'd be kind of funny, Brian, if you started introducing yourself as the tire killer.
Right.
But if you honestly, you'd probably get a phone call back if you introduced yourself that way. But hey, this is the tire killer. Give me a call. I got a truck. But I always try to have some sort of energy in my voice. I try not to just be real tone and down. Not that you have to be a salesman, but you see where I'm going with that.
Right.
The other thing I'm a big fan of is just, the pauses, right? Let her talk, pause. Bring it back and just have a basic conversation. Try not to overstep into her conversation. There's people out there. My God, I tell you what, I just talked to a lady this morning and she said, I really struggled having a conversation with her. It was just so tough. I could talk to almost anybody, but she just struggled with basic conversation. So that's something that I really recommend.
Control what you can control.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So the next place we're calling is called Tulsa Fin Tube. They're out of Tulsa. They're huge company, to be honest with you. But it looks like they do some flatbed work. Kind of interesting little company here. So they've been around since '83. We're just gonna call them, see where it goes, see what we can get out here, and see where it goes. Here we go. Remind me about Alice here after this too.
Good morning, TFT.
Hey, this is Jared over at Twin City Cartage. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Hey, I was hoping I could talk to somebody in shipping.
Just a minute.
Thanks.
It's Friday for shippers.
It's great.
This is Tyler. You can leave me a voicemail or press 0 to return to the operator if you need immediate assistance. Thank you.
Please leave your message after the tone. When done, hang up or press number sign.
Hey, Tyler, this is Jared Ross over at Twin City Cartage. We're a flatbedder out of Nebraska, but I get down to Tulsa every other day, and I'm trying to get back kind of north. I'd like to see if there be something I could work with you on or something in that extent. So if you could give me a call back, the phone number is 308-631-2543. Thanks. So a couple things that I'm a big fan of, especially when you're doing your pipeline. Okay. Mm-hmm. When you're sitting there and you're working, and we talk about this a lot, is you should it's a different mindset when you're doing investigative work and trying to figure out, okay, who's in my pipeline? Who do I need to talk to in that aspect? Right. But then it's a different mindset of, okay, I need to start calling these people. Let's go. Right. Something that we just found out is, I know when I call Tulsa Tubing Bending back, I need to talk to Alice. I'm going to sound way better next time I call. Hey, is Alice there? Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you learn every time. Now, for those of you to understand even my mindset of how I did this, okay? When I talked to Alice, I was a little higher in my tonality. Mm-hmm. If you heard me when I said to Tyler, I was a little sterner, right? You could tell he was a little more professional. Did you understand? Mm-hmm. So I was kind of like, hey, this is Jared. I was really direct and to the point. So you can get voice reflection and understand who they are from just their voicemails. You know what I mean? And keep notes. Honestly, Brian, this is it. So at the end of the day, not only does that consistency of making all those calls are important, but the consistency of follow-up is even more important. Because now we know that I need to call Alice back and Tyler back. Now I don't know, Alice, Tyler, I need me to haul your freight. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about, Brad. But it's one of those things where, I learned, a little bit about who it is. I'm dealing with Alice over at Tulsa Tube and Tyler over at Tulsa Fin. I'm going to sound better when I'm calling them. It's honestly one of those things where I feel like now I'm a little bit better, right? And I can add those to my notes. And then if you don't have a CRM, that's fine. It doesn't matter. You've got to make sure if you're calling 5 people a day and you're time blocking and you're being present in your pipeline and you're trying to be there, set a calendar for tomorrow, for Wednesday, for Thursday, whatever it is. Hey, call Tyler back. Add him to your 5 people that you're calling, because you've got to follow up, because that's where you make the money. In fact, even when I was in brokering on a day-to-day basis, God, it would probably take me 4 to 7 calls. You know what I mean? Yep. And, as a freight broker, I'm trying to offer him a solution and see what I can move out of there and really kind of going anywhere, right? As a carrier, though, I'm looking a little bit for a needle in a haystack, right? I need freight from this guy to go north. I don't want to go to Florida. I don't want to go to Nevada or New Mexico or Washington. I need it to go back to our boat. That's the most effective way to continue to make money. Gooder's not even. Can you go turn that off real quick? I got better relationships. Sorry, we're in a shop, and he's got a air compressor that's running over here. So you have to forgive us for the craziness of our live here. All right. So the next two people that we're going to call are going to be 2 brokers, and see what it is that we can get accomplished here with these 2 brokers. So I'm going to call 918 and Buckner. I've never heard of these brokers. I did run credit on them. I wish Ecarriercheck had credit. That'd be so cool, but we don't. But I was able to run credit on and make sure that they pay their bills and they're there. So we're going to give them a call and see what potentially what they can offer. And
in addition to Alice and Tyler, now we know what their names are. They're in shipping. A few things that I've learned from brokers that I talk to. Justin, he's been on our live. He'll literally get on LinkedIn and start kind of searching them and see some of the things they're reposting, what they do. So a few things that you can do between now and then.
Great
to
points.
See if there's any way that you can connect over the phone. You know what I mean? When you get on there. So
yeah, because at the end of the day, we could probably get on their website now that we know Alice's name or Tyler's name. If I'd have probably listened closer, they might have said their last name, but I didn't. Yeah. But you might be able to figure out their email address based upon the format that's on their current website. Maybe it's just Alice at tulsa2.com, right? But you usually can understand what their email address is by kind of combing their website, getting on their LinkedIn profile.
It's the little things that could probably make you stand out.
Absolutely.
Different than other carriers or brokers or whatever.
Absolutely. I love that. All right, well, let's call this next broker and see what they have to say. Hopefully they're in on a Friday. Right.
Hello?
Hi, is this 918 Freight?
No,
maybe I misdialed that. I might have misdialed that. I apologize. I apologize. I did. I pushed the wrong number. Sorry about that. Thank you.
It's okay.
All right.
Good example here. You're dialing on your phone. What's nice with Ecarriercheck, we have actually a phone technology in our system to where you click of a button, it'll link you to that broker or carrier. That way our fat fingers aren't.
Exactly. That's funny you say that, because I was like, okay, well, I totally missed that. That is kind of nice. Our click to dial is actually a really convenient way of going about it. So, all right, let's call. Let's keep that going. Sorry about that, guys. That happens to everybody, right? There we go. All right, let's go. I think I called the right number. I don't know if that's a 6 or 0. I can't even read my own writing.
Good question.
Wow, let's see. Oh, Tanita, that's a great question. Show that question. We'll talk about that in a sec.
Your call is forwarded to an automatic voice.
All right. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, Tanita, that's a really good question. We'll give you some ideas and thoughts.
Yeah, keep going. I was going to look this up real quick here.
You know, you kind of get a feel for what works best for you. You know, when Jared and I were doing some testing and calling the carriers, we were helping another dispatcher. We seem to have more pickups on the phone, you know, later in the afternoon or the weekend, sending a text. What's nice, there's platforms out there to where I use it to market for Ecarriercheck, but you can literally send out emails and texts while you're at home sleeping. It'll do it for you. So making those cold calls, I think you'll get a feel, or you'll get a certain vibe. What really works best for me to call. Think about the time zones you're into and what those time zones either those shippers or carriers are in. That's my thoughts, and Jared probably has some more to add. But
yeah,
really good question.
This is definitely what's a good time to call. You know, I think, you know, if you think about when are they in a truck, and when potentially could you catch them? And, you know, at the end of the day, you don't want to necessarily be the guy or gal that's, you know, bothering them while they're trying to strap down a load, or while they're loading a truck, something like that. And you're going to get there, right? It's going to happen. You're going to find that. But I definitely would make sure that you're not calling at 9 a.m. on Monday, right? Yeah. Everybody's calling at 9 a.m. on Monday. Call at 4 p.m. on Monday, right? Yeah. Or call, you know. And last week, by the way, too, or not last week, the week before, we actually did dispatch calls, and we had some luck on a Friday, to be honest with you. And normally you do, to be honest with you. Normally Fridays, you know, people are a little more laid back. I do recommend, you know, to keep track of when you call and where you call, and even on Ecarriercheck, we can tell you what kind of equipment they have, right? I would even keep track of the equipment that you actually are calling. And the reason why I think this is important is, especially if you make a spreadsheet, is that if you think about it, if I call a bunch of people in Ohio, okay, for some odd reason, I don't connect well with people from Ohio. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I'm from Nebraska. I don't know why. I have no idea why, but for some reason, our communication style is different. But I tell you what, when I call friggin' Washington, sign me up. Oh my gosh, those people love me. So I don't know if it's maybe the way I communicate, the way I talk. I'm not 100% sure, but I would keep track of, you might mesh well with flatbedders better than you do vans or reefers or something like that. So keep track of it, because the reason why you want to keep track of it, and I know that this is going to be a pain in the ass a little bit, is we really want to make sure that when you find success down the road, and you're going to find success, you're going to keep calling, make calls, things like that. When you find success, you want to know how to replicate it. You want to know, hey, I called this guy at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He's from Colorado. He's got vans. I need to find more people like this. Yeah. Right? So this is a great question. I love that. I definitely think it's one of those things. Keep track of it, because eventually either A, it'll tell you, you know, here's success left clues, or I'm not getting traction, and here's maybe what I can change.
Yeah. One of the things that Jared likes to do, record yourself and what you're saying. You know, that way you can kind of hear, you know, are you upbeat or maybe too downbeat? I'm not really sure how I should say that, but, you know, record yourself and see what you can learn from. Jared likes to say, watch film on yourself. So yeah. And like Tire Killer said, keep those notes. I think, you know, the more you organize and you keep picking up that phone.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It'll click.
Yeah. Brian mentions, I need to learn how to utilize the Jesse update with mass email so I can update brokers of where I am. I tell you what, Jesse, not Jesse, but Brian, this is a huge thing. If you want to create value as a carrier, let people know where you're at. In fact, I sat with, this would have been not last Friday, but the Friday before, I sat with this guy that we're calling for. And he's got 5 trucks, so it's somewhat easy to manage. If he had 60, this could be a different story. But here's what his process was, is he started to look at next week. It wasn't looking at next week, you know, we're not talking like he's getting in Monday to look for Monday. He pretty much was through Wednesday on Friday of the week before. And he was starting to email, okay, I'm going to North Dakota. I'll be in South Dakota. I'll be in, you know, Montana. And he'd start to email his contacts. Hey, I'm going to be here these couple days. Do you have anything that fits in my triangle? And because he's built so many relationships, man, I tell you what, I think by Friday afternoon, he had Wednesday and Thursday booked for all 5 of his guys.
Wow.
It was insane. So Brian, you're right. The way you add value real quick
Definitely.
is, and what he did is he sent it to, he sends it to everybody, his direct brokers and his direct shippers. And like I said, it was Wednesday, Thursday. The nice thing too, because he's built those relationships, they give you a little more flexibility. I know I need to pick up Wednesday. I know Monty's going to do a good job though. I'll let him pick it up Thursday morning.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, the Thursday or that flexibility with a shipper or broker, boom, there's some money to be made in that flexibility, because you're getting paid a little bit more. You're not on that load board.
Yeah, Tanita, that's exactly right. Sometimes you don't want to be a bother, but maybe you get that opportunity to say, hey, when's a good time for me to call? Make sure you ask that question, and then try to get off the phone as fast as you can. But try to get a good time to call, maybe an email, whatever it may be. So
I definitely think, just to add to this too, Tanita, is I never feel like you're going to bother them. Right. You're offering them service that potentially they need. Okay. Right. So get really good at leaving voicemails, and keep them short. And, hey, this is Tanita Scott. And I believe she said she was with Niagara Express, right? Yep. Hey, this is Tanita, Scott with Niagara Express. I want to check in and see if you've got your first load yet. Right?
Yeah, Kim said that last week.
She did. It was a couple weeks ago. And I loved how she said that. But, have a quick voicemail with the phone number. If you don't hear back, try to text them. After maybe 12 attempts, maybe find somebody else. Yeah. Okay. But I'd wait for that number. Don't give up at 3. Don't give up at 4. People are just busy. Yeah. You know what I mean? People are just busy. God bless it. It's definitely it's an interesting thing. So I think is that the only question? Yeah, okay. Perfect. I got that other broker. We're gonna make this call. We'll let you guys go on your Friday, but I want to at least hear what potentially this guy can offer as far as a freight broker in that area. So here we go.
Thanks for being here again.
The number you have reached is...
All right, that was not the right one either. Boy, I'm striking out with brokers today. Hang on one sec here. All right.
Welcome to Verizon.
Hang on one sec here. I'm not sure what we're missing on here, but I seem to be...
Call has been for.
Wow, we're really striking out on brokers here today. Hold on one sec.
Part of the game.
It kind of is a part of the game. Yeah, you're making phone calls, right? Okay.
And Tanita, while he's doing that, it looks like you're on Facebook. So I don't know if you have a business website, but maybe that's some things to throw in your voicemail to have those drivers check you out. Post pictures of your other drivers, making loads, or re-share stuff. A lot of the good things you can do on social media. It's very powerful.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree completely. Yeah, we seem to be struggling finding a good broker in Tulsa at the moment. And I don't have our site up right in front of me. I just wrote a handful of numbers down, so that's okay. Let's see if this guy.
Good morning, Arco.
Hey, this is Jared over at Twin City Cartage. How are you today?
Over, I'm sorry, where?
Twin City Cartage.
Twin City.
Yeah, we're a carrier. Is this a freight broker down in Tulsa?
We are not a broker. No.
I got you.
And I've got a serious reverber. Something from your phone.
You can't hear me very well. All right,
I can't hear you very well, but I can hear myself clear.
Oh, well, that's a good thing, I guess. Well, I'll give you a call back. I really appreciate your time. I'll call you from my headset, okay?
That'll work.
All right. So I seem to be striking out with brokers today. I don't know why, but maybe I'll continue to do a little more research and find a few more for when I make calls a little later. Yep. Obviously the goal with calling freight brokers is, you're really throwing, here's what I need, here's what I'm looking for, and here's the dates I'm going to be there, and here's my cost per mile, right? Brian knew his cost per mile before I even got a chance to say anything this morning. So Brian, nice job knowing that, because a lot of carriers don't even know that, which is crazy. I don't know how you would.
Right.
and just being aware of costs when you go to other places too. You know, when you go down to Tulsa, am I going to expect to pay a little higher diesel or lower diesel? I know that question's relevant if I go to California.
Right.
And
if you struggle understanding what he's mentioning, I'll tell you what, Shaggy at Shaggy Consulting, he will help you understand that.
Yeah.
That guy's insane. He will help you. So definitely check him out.
Yeah.
Reach out to him for questions like that.
Same with Charles. You know, honestly, Charles is a good Monday. We like that guy as well. So really good teachers out there that are helping people.
Very good.
As far as wrapping up today, guys, I really appreciate you guys being on. Sorry we didn't get anybody. We'll continue to try. We'll do them again next week as we continue to try to do some more live calls. Nate, how do people get in touch with us? You know, what is it that we do that we can help people with this?
Well, get in touch with us. Just check out ecarriercheck.com. Sign up for a demo, and we'd love to get you on a demo and show you how we can help you source you leads to carriers, brokers, and shippers. Help you stay organized. You know, Tire Killer said stay organized, keep notes. We want to make it a one-stop shop for you and just help you out. You know, and to add some more value, every Wednesday we have our community. We get together. We get a chat just live. Like this Wednesday, we probably talked Ecarriercheck once or twice.
Yeah, we just went through people's struggles.
Yeah, we talked about sales calls. We talked about what to say to the carrier. How you doing your emails? Like, it's a good community. If it's something you'd like to join, you don't have to be a subscriber. Just shoot us an email, give me a call. I'll take your email down. I'll add you to the list. So reach out to us. Let us know how we can help.
Yeah, take time to subscribe, share our posts, and guys, have an awesome weekend. Take a little bit of time to write down what you're going to accomplish next week so that you have that mindset when you come in Monday. And I really appreciate all the questions today, guys. You have an awesome weekend, okay?